wake up, it's Wednesday, feel the morning light. The world's a bit different, something feels just right. Coffee's brewing strong and the day's brand new. Weird Wednesday, wake up, here's a song for you. From the dawn's early rise to the evening's glow, we dance to the rhythm, let the good times flow. In the heart of the country where the wild winds blow. Weird Wednesday, wake up, let your spirit show. Weird Wednesday, wake up, start your day with a smile. Strum that banjo softly, let's enjoy for a while. Embrace the morning, let your heart take flight. Weird Wednesday, wake up, everything's alright.
Welcome to Weird Wednesday, guys. Hope you're doing well on Wednesday, midday or midweek hump day. And we are in for it. We're in for it. I am having a hard time with my voice today. It is not waking up here, so I apologize if my voice crackles and pops and sounds like a teenager boy. I can't help it. It is not waking up today. I got fine sleep last night. I don't know what the issue is here. My son is on fall break, so I don't have to get up early to take him to school. But my voice is acting like I was up till 5 a.m. And in reality, I was up at 6 a.m. Or no, I mean, I got up at 6 a.m. I wasn't up till 6 a.m. My goodness. Anyways, welcome to Weird Wednesday, guys. I was told last week that I seemed off. And I was off a little bit last week, you know. I appreciate everybody who was concerned about me and stuff like that. I didn't bring the alacrity. These topics are kind of hard to bring that kind of energy, you know. When you're talking about the devastation that we're talking about with Helene, or Helene. Anyways, it's very hard to understand how to even go about such topics. And I know these Wednesday shows are supposed to be jovial, and last week was a little bit more of a serious note. And I think today we are going to be kind of rolling off like last week as well. And we're going to be serious about it. I'm going to try to bring more of the energy for you, though, so that it doesn't sound so ominous. But last week, first of all, we are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram. Oh, are we live on Instagram? Let me check real quick. I didn't hit that. Let me go live on Instagram. Oh, no, we are. There we go. We're live on Instagram now, too, and on Rumble. So wherever you want to watch us, you can. Listen, we had a good time this weekend at the Bigfoot Jamboree in Ada, Ohio. It was the first year that they put on this event, and Justin and Jay from Cryptids of the Corn pulled that whole thing off, and it was really well done. And I think that they had close to, I believe, 2,000 to 3,000 people show up to this event. It was outdoors and in a park. It was like a festival, and it went really well. I thought it went really well. A lot of people came out, and got to introduce myself to new people, because a lot of the people that were there knew Justin and Jay, and they didn't know me so much, which is fine with me. I got to smile and talk with people and introduce myself. It was a good time, and I had some visitors with me. I had little mini me, and my daughter and my wife was with me. So it was a family event. And I brought my family as well to enjoy the day's festivities. And Joel from Free the Rabbits podcast spoke as a speaker there. And Ward from Dark Holler Productions was there. Joe was there from Joe. I'm drawing a blank on his company's name, but it was just a good time. It was a really good time. And so thank you very much to everybody who came out, enjoyed the day. It was a beautiful day. I'd say probably mid 70s. just blue skies, slight breeze. It was absolutely fantastic. And I would do it again in a heartbeat. And if you are in that area and you missed it this year, I got good news for you. It sounds like they're going to do it again next year too. So stay tuned for that. Tune into the Cryptids of the Corn podcast and show them love. Listen to their show so you don't miss when the next one's going to be. And hopefully I'll see you there next year in Ada, Ohio. All right. So we got to talk about some of this stuff that's going on here with these storms, the weather, these wildfires. I had really no agenda on today and how I wanted to talk about this stuff with y'all. I just wanted to kind of bring up some topics and float them out there and see where the conversation takes us. I didn't get a chance to put the link to join in the descriptions except for on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, there is a link in your description to join me on video. If you'd like to join the conversation, feel free to click that link and we'll pop you in when we can. And if you don't see it in your YouTube video, just hit refresh your app or whatever, and it will be there. I added it after we went live. So we have several things happening in East Tennessee, West North Carolina, Wyoming. I think one of the Dakota. I think it was South or North Dakota. My geography is not great for the Midwest. I think it's Wyoming, and I think a couple other states are dealing with wildfires. Today, we are dealing with Milton, the hurricane in the Gulf. That is going to be making landfall, I believe, in the early morning Thursday, if I remember correctly. And, it's easy to get kind of carried away with, oh my, the world is ending, and looking for signs and everything as to things to back up your thought process. I think that's natural. But when you look at a lot of this stuff, it doesn't sit right. And I don't know exactly how to put it into words. I've been trying for days, but it just doesn't feel right. Not that any of this should feel right, but the Hurricane Helene comes through here and wipes out North Carolina. I mean, I can't stress to you how bad North Carolina is right now. East Tennessee got hit hard. North Carolina got hit real hard. And we got some information here for you today from people on the ground that I want to share with you. But it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sit right. I know we're in hurricane season. Storms happen. They're unpredictable. You can't control them supposedly. But it just, in my gut, and I think there's a lot of people like me that in our guts, there just seems like there's something off. And I don't know if we have the whole picture. Everybody has pieces of a pie, information they consumed, and that helps them draw conclusions as to what is going on. But just because you have your conclusions doesn't mean you have all the information necessary to make the right conclusion. And I think our former president said it best. Let me bring him up. Let me screen share. Actually, I got to do it on this other computer. I'm sorry. 1 second here. Screen share. Where are we at? Present. Screen share. There we go. There we are. So, Concerned Citizen posted this on X. And I think our former president said it best. So let's hear from him.
You just have to flood a country's public square with enough raw sewage You just have to raise enough questions, spread enough dirt, plant enough conspiracy theorizing that citizens no longer know what to believe. Once they lose trust in their leaders, in mainstream media, in political institutions, in each other, in the possibility of truth, the game's won. You just have.
So I don't know the context of that speech, and I want to get that out right away because, I know the natural inclination would be to say that, he was talking about this and, uh, let the cat out of the bag, and he told you what he was thinking, and he, hear it from the horse's mouth. He really could be doing a speech where he's talking about, maybe an opposing force and describing their plan of attack. It could be that he was doing revelation of the method. We don't know. I don't know, at least. But what he described there is very it's ringing true to what I think we're experiencing right now. I feel like we're experiencing overload in information, and I feel like that is being done intentionally. It has been, they've been doing that for years. It will never stop. It will never slow down. We will never not be inundated with other people's opinions, information, and leaving people running around drawing their own conclusions and being hungry and thirsty and starving for the next piece of a puzzle. And so I feel like we're dealing with a lot of that right now with what's going on in North Carolina, in Tennessee, soon to be Florida, in Wyoming. Now, I don't know much about what's going on in Wyoming. I know that I had a listener, excuse me. I am trying to keep my voice awake. I had a listener reach out. I think that they are, excuse me. I believe that they are in Wyoming, and they asked me to talk about this. And at first, my first reaction was, well, I don't know. I can't just cover all natural disasters, all natural phenomenons happening throughout the country. Not a good broadcast today with my voice. But from what I understand, that these wildfires, one, are absolutely by far the largest wildfires in the state's history. 73,000 acres is what I last heard that these things are covering. And I believe I read that 25,000 acres caught fire within, I want to say it was like a few hours. It seems like it's being engineered, is what people are suggesting. And there are videos online showing animals running, trying to escape these fires. I mean, it just looks like something out of a movie at times. So is it that there's somebody running around with a Bic lighter lighting up Wyoming? No. There's definitely technology involved if we're talking about intentional wildfires. And that certainly could get involved with weather manipulation, weather modification. And this is something that is very real, and it does happen, and it's been admitted to. So we'll get into those sources here in a few minutes, just to kind of show you what I'm talking about, because though I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, or sharp, see, I just messed that line up. See, point proven. I am not the sharpest tool in the shed. I am a little sharp. I still have some sharpness. So, listen, last week I mentioned about how, I was going to be trying to get a running list of places people can donate to help with the relief efforts of Hurricane Helene. We might, I'm not saying we are, but we might add Hurricane Milton to this page. More than likely, probably will. But I am trying to source local contacts to be able to confidently say to my audience, these are people that I personally feel comfortable with, because I know a lot of people have trust issues when it comes to um, donating. And I did put two national organizations on the website. The link is in the description of this video and will be for the audio as well. One of the, I can't even say organizations that's on there, is a individual. His name is William Bond, and he runs a YouTube channel called Permaculture Consultant. He is a friend of mine. He reached out to me probably within the first week or two of me moving to Tennessee. He was a listener of the show, and him and his family were homesteaders in North Carolina. And he reached out because he heard that I wanted to get into, farming, and we became really good friends. He has since moved back to Texas with his wife and baby daughter. And when Helene hit, he felt very compelled to come back up here to help with relief. William has a daughter that is going to be turning 1 this month. His wife is down there, and he left them behind to come up here and work to help with recovery. William does not have an end date in mind. He said he will be up here as long as there are funds for him to do the work. I have talked to him today. Let me pull up a text from him actually right now, and we're going to give you an update as to what he has said. I asked him, first of all, if he has time to do a call with me today, and he said he doesn't, that he was about 5 minutes away from losing cell phone reception. And William is planning on doing donations, of course, but helping to rebuild. And more importantly, William's very familiar with the mountains of North Carolina. He farmed them, and he knows where the mountain roads are, the back mountain roads, the roads that are not mapped. He knows where the communities are on the mountain that need help, that either aren't mapped or are so inaccessible that they are just not a priority. And he is planning on hiking supplies into these people. So I asked him for an update today, and this is what he has had to say to me. Things are much worse than I was expecting. I was up in the Pensacola part of the mountains, and the entire communities literally no longer exist. The bottoms of these mountains look like they've been shaved off. The roots of the mountains are exposed. I do not know what that actually means, the roots of the mountains. I can only imagine, because I think most of us have never seen the roots of mountains. The 82nd Airborne is out here at the moment, but they're not allowed to do anything. And this is a text that I got from him this morning I got it from him last night at 11:30. The 82nd Airborne is out here at the moment, but they're not allowed to do anything. They have to have civilian middlemen, and he put in parentheses us, to communicate with the members of the community. They say they can cut trees, but they're not allowed to do any rigging. The only thing they can do that's actually useful is shuttle us around on their space age side-by-sides. FEMA is nowhere to be found. They dropped off crates of water in random locations, but no one is touching it for some reason. I think I don't know the reason, but I have heard that there are people who are seeing these crates of water and are choosing to let them go and be available for somebody else that might need it more. And so maybe that's what he's describing. These people in the mountains are very can-do people, and they will opt to forego help with the idea that somebody else needs the help more than they do. And so that might be a situation here. You give these people, I saw it on a video yesterday. They said if you give these people a case of beer, a pack of smokes, and a chainsaw, they'll take care of themselves. So he continues and says here in the text message, a lot of the locals aren't thinking about the long term. They keep saying they have enough supplies for the day, but what they're not realizing is that the aid groups are going to start leaving if the locals keep saying they're fine. That makes sense to me. If locals keep saying they're fine, the people who are coming and bringing aid may stop coming because everything's fine. William also says 4 to 6 month projection on the power being turned back on. So these people are about to head into wintertime in the mountains. These mountains do get snow. It's south, but yes, the mountains get snow. And I can tell you, as somebody who lives in East Tennessee in the foothills in the mountains, I don't live up on the mountains, but when I'm driving, I can see the snow top on the mountains when I have no snow down where I'm at. So these mountaintops do get snow, and we're heading into the colder months. Last night, I think it was in the 40s here. I had to move some of my baby chickens into a chicken coop with the big chickens a little early because I just wanted them to stay safe and warm. Anyways, we're heading into these cold months, and they're projecting 4 to 6 month projection on power being turned back on. So these people do need help still. I encourage people to continue to help because these people are going to be in the winter months with no power. A lot of people. This is not just a community. I just want to stress to people listening right now, this is not a community. This is a region of the United States of America that was wiped out by a flood. He also says 3 to 4 weeks before water is back on. So, though I've been getting reports of people saying that water is overstocked now, because that's the first thing people send is water. I personally would say to you, if you still feel compelled to donate water, don't feel hesitant to do it because water can go really, really fast. William also finishes this text with saying, all that being said, I haven't even seen the worst of it yet. I think I'm going to start renting equipment and start cutting roads. The best thing these people can do is probably leave before winter. So William thinks that it's that bad. Now, William is a native of the area. He is there now, and he believes it's that bad in the areas that he's at that people, their best option is to leave before the winter hits. And that obviously is not a great answer for some people. One, they can't. Two, if they by leaving, are they surrendering their property to the government? There's a lot of things with that. Also, by the way, I haven't read the contract myself, but when they are saying that they're going to give only $750 to the families that were hit by this, it is, from what I've been told, a loan. Like I said, I have not read these contracts, but when people sign on the dotted line, theoretically, from what I'm hearing, it's not a grant, it's not a gift, it is a loan that they're expected to pay back. I don't know, again, how true that is. It's just something that I've heard. But given what William has said here in the text message and the lack of response or the paperwork that seems to be just holding things up, it wouldn't surprise me that such things are happening right now. Now, is that something that could be waived in the future? I'm sure that's going to be the case. But right now, for things to happen, I imagine there's a lot of paperwork and bureaucracy that people are pushing through in hopes that down the road it just gets sorted out. So William is out there right now. He's going to be renting equipment today and start cutting up roads. And he believes that the best thing for some of these people is to leave and get out before the winter sets in. I have a video that I want to play for you. It's about a 7 to 8 minute video. It is me and William at Walmart 2 nights ago, I believe. He rolled through here, and I wanted to introduce William to you. He's been on the show a couple times in studio. If you just remember any of like my homesteading friend, this is the same guy. And I just wanted to show you guys what he was taking out on his way to North Carolina. And just introduce you to him, because he is listed on the hurricane relief page on the confessionalspodcast.com. The link is in the description of this video and episode. And he is listed there as a person you can donate to if you feel comfortable doing so. He has a Give Send Go set up, and his Give Send Go is, I think, over $9,000 right now he's raised, and he is using that money to buy supplies, fuel, water, food, and machinery to start deconstructing to reconstruct. So here is William. Let's bring him on. All right, we're here with William. William, introduce yourself to the people.
My name is William Bond. I'm from the Permaculture Consultant on YouTube. And the reason I mentioned that is because the last two videos have donation links down below. And what we're doing today is we're taking fuel and water and a bunch of food. Like, these are all 15-gallon tanks to fill up equipment and keep people going, keep generators going. This is about, each one of these tanks is like 230 gallons of clean water. Just got these filled up. And all of this has been funded by like donations so far. And I'm running this to the victims of the Hurricane Helene
in North Carolina
and in Tennessee. I got chainsaws, straps, more chainsaw equipment in this tote. Got a wheelbarrow here. And then over here we've got a bunch of like food donations, baby equipment, because I mean, sadly there are orphans from this event. So there's formula here, there's diapers, there's baby wipes, there's a bunch of food, there's more propane canisters here. There's another transfer tank with diesel to keep equipment moving. There's a lot of people that are just kind of stuck in place now. And I mean, the government isn't coming to help. Whether or not, despite what you might be hearing on the news, FEMA is taking a lot of credit for what's going on with private donations. Until recently, they've been confiscating private donations, and it is 100% up to private donations and private entities and stuff like that. So I will be running equipment like this. I'll be hiking it into people. I'll be running equipment if need be, and I will continue doing this until we run out of donations, or until everybody is helped, and hopefully everybody gets helped.
Yeah, so I mean, you're originally from North Carolina, you know the mountain roads,
right,
and you know a lot of access points that are hard to get to, and how there's people out there that are stranded still in these remote areas, right?
Yeah, so like you might hear on the news that like Asheville is being taken care of, Marshall is being taken care of, Hot Springs is being taken care of, and some of those major, like larger cities. But the thing about being in those mountains that there's a lot of holler communities. A lot of these communities weren't official until like about the 90s, when they started bringing gravel out to these roads. Not even paving them yet, but just gravel. And a lot of those communities have one way in and one way out, and a lot of the times there's a creek crossing because it's a temperate rainforest, so there's a lot of water features, there's a lot of creeks, and they've washed out a lot of bridges. And also, like, it's steep terrain, so it's not like if you get stranded in Texas, where I live now, you can just kind of walk flat terrain the entire way to safety. A lot of this is steep, mountainous terrain that people can't necessarily get in and out of unless you are prepared for that sort of thing, or if you have like four-wheelers or side-by-sides or anything like that. So there's a lot of crews that are rebuilding roads or cutting new roads right now. Also, one thing that's not talked about a lot is that everything downstream of Asheville is contaminated mud. That's another thing that people are needing right now, are hazmat suits, because there was a PVC pipe making factory on the French Broad River. That got completely wiped out, and all those chemicals made it into the river and have leached into the mud. So a lot of people are getting in there, cleaning up the areas, and then getting really, really sick afterwards because they're in this highly contaminated mud and water. Like, I don't know if anybody remembers that Ohio train derailment, same doggone chemicals. That's exactly what's going on there.
So you are going out there, bringing these supplies in. You live in Texas now. You moved down there last year, originally from North Carolina, and you have talked it over with your wife, and you are not going back home till you run out of funds.
When I run out of funds, yes. And even like my daughter, she's our first child. Her 1-year birthday is at the end of this month. Um, I haven't even thought about it till now, but there's a chance that I might not be there for her first birthday, or my wife and baby might. I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I think looking back, she'll be very proud of her dad for what he did, and she's not going to remember her first birthday anyways. That's your memory, and you're choosing not to take it. But so speaking of the donations and what you're doing, you're basically going out there to help people where you can, and you're going to be doing things that maybe there's a lot of people out there that are out there trying to help that don't even know to do, right? So that's what you're taking donations for. You are a personal friend of mine. I didn't just meet you here at Walmart. You're a personal friend of mine. You've been on the podcast several times. So I want you to, once again, tell them the channels to plug into for more up-to-date information as you discover things, because you're going to be my boots on the ground reporter through this process, but also tell them where they can donate. Now, you are somebody that you're taking donations, and I know there's been a lot of people saying that don't give to GoFundMe's because you don't know where the money's going. If you donate to your to Williams Give Send Go, it is going directly to 100% to the cause of getting supplies out to people in North Carolina, Tennessee, and things like that. So tell them where they can go for that as well.
So if you go to my YouTube channel, The Permaculture Consultant, you can, like the last 2 videos I did, you'll see the links down below. If you go to Perma Pastures Farm, which is my parents' YouTube channel, they also have more links. They have a link that's like a donation to WNC farmers, because a lot of farmers that weren't affected as bad have donated all of their food, and stuff that they would typically sell has all gone to donation. There's a fund to repay those farmers. There's another fund to repay a bakery in West Asheville that has been feeding people for free this whole time. Also, if you go to Grindstone Ministries, that's an awesome place to donate to, even outside of disaster events. But if you go to Grindstone Ministries, that's going to a lot of equipment work and a lot of the first aid type equipment that's needed in these situations. Yeah, I mean, like, I know a lot of people have hesitation giving money to certain organizations because they know a lot of the money is going to go up to like administration fees. None of this money is going to administration fees. I'm keeping track of everything that we're spending. I'm trying to video document everything. And I'm also going to try to give you guys like a real understanding of what's going on in those locations. I know that there's a lot of people on YouTube that are either downplaying what's happening because they're shills for the government or FEMA or whatever. And then there's, on the other side, there's a lot of people who are over exaggerating what's going on because they want clicks on their YouTube. My goal is to show you guys exactly what is happening accurately. So that way, like, if I say, hey, there's like, don't worry about any more donations, like, we're good, you're not like wasting your money, and it's not just going into the ether or into somebody's pocketbook or anything.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, good luck on your journey, and keep us posted.
Thank you so much, man.
So that's, excuse me, man, my voice again. That is William. And again, friends, I will tell you that William is an actual real life friend of mine. I actually don't have very many of those, but I trust him. I mean, let me just tell you the kind of person that William is, because I wasn't planning on spending this much time on William, but I think it's important because I really believe in what he's doing. And let me just tell you, I moved to Tennessee. He contacts me just to offer support and help with my journey of farming. He comes out to meet me and to help me fix some things on my house after we moved in. No charge. He drove 2 hours, over 2 hours. It was actually, I think, closer to 3 hours. He drove to come help me. And then he's just been back and forth so many times helping me with electrician, because he's an electrician, by the way. He does electrical. So he's helped me with electrical work and just a bunch of different things around the house. And then one day he calls me and he says, hey, do you want to get pigs? And I'm like, yeah, eventually I think I want to get pigs. And he's like, hey, I got a guy that's going to hook you up and stuff. And he hooked me up with 2 baby pigs, and he came out from North Carolina with me to bring the pigs to my home and get me set up. He set up the whole thing with me, and never asked for a dime. And then probably about a month later, he calls me and he says, "Hey, do you want to get those chickens going?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to. I guess I gotta get down to the store and get the baby chicks and stuff because I have the chicken coop built now." And he said, "Don't worry about it. I'll bring 10 chickens to you today." And he brought me 10 fully grown egg laying chickens that were about a year old to get me started on chickens, and no charge. Didn't ask for anything, just brought him. And then a while later, he called me and he said, and I don't remember how long ago, this over a year ago now, about maybe a year and a half ago, he called me and said, "Hey, can you do us a favor? Do us a favor, not me. I don't want to do. I don't want you to do me a favor, as in like come here or anything like that." He said, "Can you do us a favor? Can you take a 400-pound pig off our hands?" And I'm thinking he means bringing a pig to live with my other pigs. No, they had to process a pig and they didn't have enough room in their freezer. So he processed a pig, went through the work of, getting it all taken care of, put it in a lot of coolers, and brought a 400-pound processed pig to my house for me to store it in my freezer and stock up my freezer. That's the kind of person William Bond is and his family is. The Bonds, he mentioned their YouTube channel as well. They are the kind of people that literally will give you stuff. They give stuff away all the time. They do not worry about what the next meal is going to come for. They just bless people and they know it's going to come back around. And they are a living example of how God takes care of those who take care of other people. They just really are. They're the kind of people you dream of meeting one day. And so all I can say to you is I have had multiple interactions with William, dozens of interactions with him since I've moved here. And for somebody who lived hours away and even longer now, since he's been to Texas, he's been here with me for 3 or 4 times. The guy is just he is what he says he is, and he's doing what he say he's doing. So if you still don't trust him, if you still don't trust it, I am not going to fault you for it. I am very cautious with where I put my donations as well. But I will tell you that from me to you, I trust William. And so if you feel like you've been looking for somebody that's going to be boots on the ground helping and you want to help that person help other people, William Bond from Permaculture Consultant YouTube channel is the guy that I trust. I would trust him with my life. I promise you with that. So his link is in the link below. So when you go and click on the link that I created for the help page on our website, he is listed there as locals, as one of the locals that you can donate to. And if you feel inclined to do that, feel free. So there is another guy coming from Utah, and I'm not going to name drop him because I don't know if he's going to get in trouble for this or not. But he texted me this morning, and let me pull up the text from him. And basically, he asked me, let me see here. I'll just tell you. So basically, he asked me, he's coming in from Utah to be boots on the ground. So what he does for a living is he's a law enforcement officer. He's a police officer, but he's a unique police officer. He doesn't patrol city streets. His job is to go out into the wilderness and patrol the wilderness. So he goes out into vast amounts of wild nature and wanders looking for crime. That's his job. And his employer, his boss, is sending him out here to basically do his job and help out here. Now, I don't think he's going to be really looking for crime as much as relief effort. And he says to me, let me preface it by saying I know you're busy. I also would you be interested in riding with me for a day while I'm out here working? Sounds like the current mission set is primarily search and rescue / recovery, road clearing, and delivery of supplies to remote locations. So basically, what William is doing is what this man is doing as well. So I told him yes, and I'm gonna let him figure out if it's a possibility or not. But sometime next week, possibly, I might be going out there to hopefully get my hands dirty on some things because uh, my heart's desire has been there to just drop everything that I do and just be out there like William is. Um, but I've had conversations with William and other people, and they have all told me that my my best use is sitting here to be the voice. So that is what I am doing today, and I will continue to do when there's relevant information to um, discuss. But if I have an opportunity to get out there to be on the scene, to be able to tell you what I've seen and what I saw, I will, and I would be attempting to film what I can, but I also don't want to be um, a tourist. You know, I'm there to help. So stay tuned for that. And I wanted to talk to you as well about some of this other stuff. So uh, let me talk to you. We kind of hit on, you know, the response of uh, government like FEMA, and there's been a lot of rumors out there as to what is what. You know, are people actually um, are they actually encountering being turned away from helping people, or is that just a, you know, an information overload that people are sharing to muddy the waters? So I want to share this with you because this is something that has been going around. This post here was shared by Conspiracy Gardener Homestead. Okay, interesting name, but there have been reports of helicopters coming into these donation centers where people are dropping off supplies and getting real low and then flying off. And by getting real low, they are doing something called rotor wash. And the spinning of the rotors is just common sense, blows everything around and destroys stuff. And people are saying that this is actually causing, like, not just messing up their stuff, like, you know, oh, I got to go get my piece of paper over there, but it's actually destroying things, breaking things. And I saw one report say that there was $100,000 worth of damage that came from one of the rotor washes. I don't know exactly uh, but I wanted to share this with you in case you have not heard this and seen these videos. So if you're listening right now, I'm just showing, I believe this is a Chinook helicopter getting real low to the ground and then flying off. Now, I've seen this video several times. I haven't seen it actually fly off. It seems like it's been cut a lot. So I don't know what the truth of the matter is on this particular video. But people are saying that it came in, did the rotor wash, and flew off. Now, from what I understand, the FAA's regulation is and apparently you learned this very early in your training sessions, but the FAA says that, you know, if you are going to be flying over, you know, buildings or people, the regulation is 500 feet. So these are video clips of that not happening. Here's another one. Now, I'd like to say for people maybe listening and aren't watching this, this one you just saw it fly off. It was hovering real low and then just flew off. And you know, people who are listening here and maybe not seeing this actually happen, you know, this is something that it seems pretty obvious what is happening here, because you're not going to it's not like somebody was trying to come in for a landing and, oh, I can't land there. They can see where they can land before they get that low. And it's not like it was a last minute decision where they were decided to just take off. Do I believe that this is nefarious? I think that there's a possibility that there's nefariousness going on. Again, there's so much stuff coming out that it's muddying the waters, and the real information that you really want, we don't have right now. And so I'm hesitant to make definitive conclusions as to what we see in some of these videos. But I will say this: I believe William, hopefully, will be able to be our source on the ground in North Carolina and East Tennessee. He's going to be going back and forth. I think his main focus is going to be North Carolina. From what I'm hearing, East Tennessee has had tremendous response, and so the people are faring so much better in Tennessee versus North Carolina. So here's another one. I'm gonna bring that down. Let me actually just mute this here. Can I do that? There we go. I muted the video that way. But you can see how this video here, this helicopter is just blowing the tents around. Everything's just getting blown around, and then it just takes off. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So why would they be doing that? Are they intentionally trying to harm people? There's a lot of theories and thoughts going on between North Carolina and I keep saying whenever I think of Wyoming, I always want to say Wyomissing because that's a town that I used to live near. Just the way my brain works. But Wyoming and North Carolina have significant lithium deposits, and lithium is in high demand these days, especially with the manufacturing of the electric vehicles. And so, from what I understand, in North Carolina, the government for the last 20 years or so has been trying to purchase the land for the lithium mining, but the locals have been saying no, no, no. And when you look at the satellite imaging or the radar, whatever it is that you see the storm coming in on the radar, there have been people putting out videos of these. Oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank on the actual term for it. But they're weather modification, whether it's NOAA or HARP. But you see these pulses, and when you see the pulse happen. I don't know where that sound was from, so I apologize for that. But let me just stop sharing this, and there we go. So I don't know where I was going. Oh, so before I was rudely interrupted by the sound on my computer, you see these pulses, and every time it pulses, it seems to push the storm, and it seemed like it was steering the storm right over our area. And then there's the thought of the company that owns the dam that is in North Carolina, drawing a blank on that as well as the name of the company. But the investors, the people who own stock in it, are BlackRock, Vanguard, the big players, and they opened up the dam. And when early on, I thought I had heard that the dam broke, but they opened up the dam. Now, again, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but and I'm assuming the dam is privately owned. It's owned by a company, so it's their call, their shot kind of thing. But this is just a Tony interpretation. The dam didn't break. From what I understand now, it was opened up because it would have broken. And so there was an intentional decision to open up a dam and flood everything in its path versus letting it break and maybe slowly. I don't know the logistics of it, okay? My first reaction was it's probably a cheaper fix to fix a broken dam than an entire region that's destroyed. But at the same time, is there aftermath effects of the dam breaking, that say the dam breaks, everything gets destroyed in its path, and you don't have the dam now, which is probably supplying power to those regions and things like that. So there's a lot of you know, balancing issues and weighing out what is what in these kind of situations. But that's what I mean when I said earlier when we first started the show, it just doesn't sit right. There's just it's off, and I can't put my finger on it. I refuse to say it's all about the lithium. I refuse to say it's because they're trying to kill people who vote for Trump. I don't want to say those things because I don't think we have a clear picture. But I think a lot of us feel like it doesn't sit right. It feels off. It feels intentional at times. You see these rumors of FEMA, and William said that he didn't tell us that he had direct interactions with FEMA, but he said FEMA's nowhere to be found. He's been out there for about 48 hours now, and he says they're nowhere to be found. So that's a problem. There's a problem with the lack of funds for this situation. There's a problem of funds going other places instead of the situation, out of country, after the event already happened. So there's a lot of questions, it makes you just your stomach turn a little bit. The idea of how many people passed away and died. They're still finding people. I think I just saw a report yesterday in passing. I was out doing things. I didn't have time to actually read it, but it seems like they found some kind of warehouse or factory that the people inside didn't get out. And so I don't know how many people passed away there. How many people have children that are now orphans? How many orphans are out there that haven't been found yet, and are still trying to survive and looking for their parents? I don't know these things, but I know that this is a gigantic. This disaster. It's larger than anything I could ever remember. Okay, I wasn't alive during Mount St. Helene. That was in the early 80s. I was born in 85. I remember my mom when I was growing up, my mom telling me that in Pennsylvania, the ash was falling on cars in Pennsylvania because the jet stream pulled the ash. I remember I recently saw a video of Mount St. Helene exploding, and I think it might have been the first time I ever saw it. But it looked like the mountain was melting. Terrible disaster. The hurricane in New Orleans in 2005. And now I'm drawing a blank because I've been saying Helene so much, but you guys know what I'm talking about. That was a terrible disaster. Terrible. Awful. This disaster is on that level, but spread out over such a large area. And that's what I just can't stress enough. I can't even comprehend where you start to rebuild. Some of these places, I really believe they're going to throw their hands up and say, we just can't. It's done. Like when William's saying that he sees the roots of mountains, that means that what existed there is gone forever. It doesn't exist anymore. So weather modification is a very real thing, and I'm not going to read through this whole thing here, but I found this fella on X the other day, Health Ranger, at Health Ranger. Let me share my screen here so I can show you what he said. So here we go. If weather modification is just a conspiracy theory, then why does NOAA have an entire page dedicated to the 9 methods of weather modification, including lasers and ionization, that require mandatory reporting with the government using Form 17-4? This NOAA page also lists over 1,000 weather modification experiments that have been filed with the government. So you go to this page. Will it pull it up for us here? I don't think it did. Here, let me stop sharing and reshare this page for you. I thought if I clicked the link, it would actually just keep sharing, but apparently not. So let's share this thing here for you. So this is NOAA, library.noaa.gov/weather-climate/project-reports. That is the URL. And it's an entire page dedicated to it. And you have this list of 9 right here, including using lasers or other sources of electromagnetic radiation. This is something that is just it's not a conspiracy theory. I don't think many of you watching or listening right now ever maybe ever, but at least right now believe that it's fake. It's not real. They have been talking about this for a long time. In fact, the state I live in in Tennessee, they outlawed chemtrails. Our skies are much bluer these days. They don't do chemtrails in Tennessee anymore, theoretically. Maybe they do while we sleep. So weather modification is absolutely real. And the latest of that possibly is Hurricane Milton in Florida. Now, when I first heard about Hurricane Milton, people were worried that it was going to be coming for Appalachia again. That was the fear. Early on, it became apparent that it wasn't going to be steered that direction. But again, I don't know these things. I don't have. I never went to school for this stuff, but I have seen people who have gone to school for this stuff saying on X and online that they've been watching weather patterns and following the hurricanes for 30 years as a profession, and they have never seen a hurricane form on the west side of the Gulf and head east towards Florida. And then I saw a graphic. I don't have it available now, but I saw a graphic. It happened 4 other times in history, and 3 of the 4 times was in the 1800s. 20 perfectly placed 20 years apart. Which, if it happened in current modern times, we'd be saying it was weather manipulation, weather modification. I don't know. Maybe they were doing weather modification back in the 1800s too. But it was for a 60-year period. Every 20 years, a storm did that and headed towards Florida from the west. But it hasn't happened in like over 100 years. And it's happening now, though. So is it natural, or is it something that happens very rarely? They didn't always track. They didn't always have this kind of data to track hurricanes. So is it something that happened a long time ago, and it hasn't happened in over 100 years? I don't know, but it's information that I relay to you, because right now it is a category 4, or has it turned 5 yet? Or I think it turned 5 now. But it's barreling down on Florida right now. My neighbor who lives next door to me, let me say this. This storm is going to hit directly on Tampa. Tampa, Florida they're talking about 15-foot to 20-foot surges. That means everything's underwater. I just found out this morning the United States Central Command is stationed in Tampa on the bay, literally on the bay. So we do have a national problem here if Central Command gets knocked out, and for how long. I imagine they have backup power and they have everything figured out, hopefully. But they're right there on the water. They're going to get hammered by this. My neighbor's from Florida, from the Tampa area, and he texted me, I think it was Friday last week, that he was heading back to Tampa to visit family. And he is there right now. And I texted him this morning, talking to him, asking how things are going. And, he's a Florida guy, and they just speak different about these things. They don't, it doesn't bother him as much, I suppose. But he said, we're about to get it. 2 o'clock in the morning tomorrow is when it makes landfall. It appears that it might veer just south of us by a few miles, but it'll be so close, I doubt it will matter. And then he sent me a screenshot of the path and where he's at. He's directly in the path. I asked him, "Who are you with? Do you have enough high ground, or do you have high ground?" I'm hearing 15-foot storm surges. He said, "Probably going to be going to see a few 110-mile-per-hour winds. Uh, check the map. We're very much inland." And when he said that, I'm looking. I'm like, "You don't seem that far from it compared to me, buddy." Like, I'm thinking to myself, like, I prefer to be in Tennessee right now. But he's built different. He's built different. He said actually right next to Lakeland Regional Airport, which is where he's at. So we're not likely to lose power for very long if we do. But he said he's going to check back in with me on the other side of the storm. And I said, please do. We need to know he's still alive and breathing. And I want to see if I can add a piece of media here for you. I don't know if I can because I forgot that they I don't think I can. That's one thing that's frustrating with the I'll just show you with my phone. StreamYard that I use StreamYard to broadcast to multiple locations with you guys, and I can't just upload a picture like I do with the videos that I showed you with William earlier and stuff. Like, it has to be a slideshow. I'm like, it's a picture. Just let me share a picture, please. So I'm just gonna do the old way, and I'm gonna hold my phone up to the camera here and show you. Let me see here. There we go. That blue dot on the screen is where my neighbor's sitting right now. And that is where the storm is coming in at. So yeah, I mean, he's like, we're far enough inland. And I'm like, what? I don't know, man. That doesn't seem very far to me. But he'll be all right. We're trusting that he's going to be okay. We're going to keep praying for him. I prayed for him on the way into the office today. I encourage everybody that's listening right now to pray for him and everybody in Florida that's planning on hunkering down and weighing their options is not an easy thing in these times. I mean, do you leave or do you stay? With him, I personally think he's nuts. I'm like, dude, why'd you even go? Like, sorry guys, there's a hurricane. I'm just gonna stay in Tennessee. But he didn't leave. There's a lot of people leaving. There's crazy traffic. But then there's people that can't afford to leave. They have nowhere to go. Maybe they're homeless. There's a guy I just saw the video. I didn't listen to it, but they were interviewing a guy on his boat, and he was in the Tampa area, and he was staying on his boat during the storm. Like, he wasn't leaving. He was just going to stay on his boat. And I'm thinking to myself, sir, hope you're prayed up, because that sounds absolutely terrifying. Category 5, they're saying that this is possibly going to be the worst or one of the worst in modern history. And thoughts and prayers and prayers. Forget about the thoughts. Prayers and prayers to people in Florida right now getting ready to go through it. And I am going to say this right now. Be prepared for a big push of attention on the damage that happens to Milton for several reasons. One, the governor of Florida is very good with response to disasters. So they're going to want to cover it. They're going to want to show that a disaster happens and it's being taken care of, and everything's because when you show that, you reflect calmness. You give calmness to people. You put them at ease. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's fine. Look how good it's going. And at the same time, I fully expect North Carolina and Tennessee to be not mentioned about at all. It's barely mentioned now, from what I understand. I don't watch mainstream media. I don't know, but everybody's saying it's not being mentioned in the media. Um, so be prepared for a lot less talk about Helene and the damage that it caused in North Carolina and Tennessee. These people are going to be hurting for, like William said, 4 to 6 months, no power. We're talking about into the winter months up in the mountains, no power. These people need your help. If you feel inclined to donate to William or another charity that you like, or one that I list on the website, just if you feel inclined, I will not tell people what to do with their finances. But if you feel inclined to do that, I encourage you to help those in need. Um, the little you have might be a lot more than what other people have. So I'm going to I was going to do some other things here, but I'm going to bring this in for a landing with you guys. But what I am going to do is I'm going to play this is a 12-minute video, okay? And what this 12-minute video is, and I don't know if I'm going to play the whole thing because uh, I I don't know if it's going to be good for audio listeners, to be honest with you. And so I'm trying to produce a live show with the audience that is listening in mind. But essentially, this situation that they're going through in Florida was game planned in 2009. An exercise simulated a catastrophic scenario where Tampa Bay faces a direct hit from a fictional Category 5 hurricane named Phoenix. This was set in October. The outcome was devastating, showing the potential destruction a worst-case storm could inflict on the region. Interestingly, the name Phoenix draws from mythology, where the bird symbolizes rebirth, renewal, and fresh beginnings. According to the Masonic Encyclopedia, the phoenix represents external regeneration, and is linked to the Holy Spirit, which, like a dove, hovered over the waters, invoking the themes of reviving and transformation. So, I just read that. I thought you guys were reading along with me. I forgot I didn't share my screen. Share screen. There we go. So this was posted by Shadow of Ezra on X. And let's take a look if we can. Why are we not hearing it now? Before we had audio issues where it was playing and we didn't want it to play. And now we have audio issues where it is not playing. That's interesting. Oh, there we go. I'm going to fast forward it here.
This tropical storm Phoenix, and it's out here just to the south of Puerto Rico. It is now strengthened to a Category 1 hurricane.
Well, Jim, we do have a problem. We have a new hurricane. That's Hurricane Phoenix. It was a tropical storm earlier today, but now it's reached hurricane intensity. The good news, it's only a Category 1. But notice what I put up here. Now, those of you in Tampa and St. Petersburg, this is still a long way out, but it's October, and the favorable hurricane track is to go to the northwest and then turn back toward Florida. You can see this system is going to come up here as a Category 1 hurricane, move by the Cayman Islands here in about 24 hours. But notice, major hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico in about 4.5 to 5 days, and that's bad news. Well, Jim, it just keeps getting worse now. We've got another update, and we have a 105-mile-per-hour Category 2 hurricane, and it's rapidly intensifying here right near the Yucatan Channel, and it's going to come into the Gulf of Mexico within about 6 to 12 hours. A hurricane landfall is certain in the Florida area, we think. That's the most likely in the central West Florida area. And as a Category 4 or even possibly a Category 5 hurricane, so we have an extreme to catastrophic event unfolding here with Hurricane Phoenix.
We are still smack dab in the middle of the cone. At this point, we have all the hurricane watches in place, and I do hope you've started to make all of your preparations for your family, your pets, and all of your belongings, because we are now looking at who has to get out first, and we are going to be looking at an incredibly large storm surge, anywhere from about 10 to 20 feet or possibly more if this does make landfall as a Category 5 hurricane.
I've been waiting an hour and 57 minutes for just some gas.
Thousands heeded the warnings. This was the largest evacuation in history, and it lasted more than 24 hours.
We're beginning to see the tropical storm force winds already in Sarasota and Manatee counties. So as this begins to approach, we are going to be very, very concerned about anybody left behind getting themselves together and getting out. Please take this very seriously. You need to make your preparations. If you haven't already gotten out of the area, you do need to do so.
Well, the latest with potentially catastrophic Hurricane Phoenix. This is now a Category 5 hurricane expected to move to the northeast and make landfall sometime around noon in central Pinellas County. And of course, the winds counterclockwise around this area of low pressure will push water into the bay and cause storm surge flooding as much, even in downtown Tampa, over 21 feet, perhaps even a little bit higher than that. It will literally flood the barrier islands and push water up into northern Manatee County into the river here, and that'll cause flooding all the way along that region. 160-mile-per-hour winds, and of course, that will cause damages to at least half of the structures in and around the Tampa Bay area, especially on the beaches and anywhere that may be affected by water, because that water is going to surge into the bay and have nowhere to go and cause flooding anywhere from Apollo Beach to the Port of Tampa to Oldsmar, even around eastern Pinellas County and downtown St. Petersburg. Now, once it does make landfall around noon with those strong winds, it likely will weaken some, perhaps, but still Category 5 or eventually a strong Category 4 inland. So Pasco, Hernando, Sumter, Citrus County, you are not out of the woods just because you are off of the coast. You're still going to see a lot of damage with very high winds as this storm moves into the inland areas. Now, onshore wind piles water along the coast. That's what a storm surge does. As the storm nears, wind will drive that water ashore, and that's what causes the flooding. And again, we're talking about completely flooded barrier islands, places like Longboat Key, for example, Bradenton Beach. That entire area will be flooded over with water, parts of Pinellas County as well. Now, a hurricane warning remains in effect for all of the Tampa Bay area. 13 to 21-foot storm surge, maybe more than that, even in places like downtown Tampa. Barrier islands will flood. As I mentioned, bridges and causeways destroyed. So again, if you have not left your home yet, do not leave your home. Go to an interior room.
You can see there's a lot of debris down here on the ground. Just chunks of asphalt that's been lifted off the streets and just blown down the way. This is right when the outer eye wall is moving through this area. Winds are gusting up to 97 miles an hour.
Yes, water is all in the house. The roof is completely caved in on us. We need emergency assistance, please.
Okay, man, we can't respond right now because of the condition of the hurricane.
So many people did not heed warnings to evacuate. Rescuers are challenged to find ways back out on the islands and into hard-hit areas to conduct search and rescue operations.
Survivor are coming in.
Currently, there are 165 known deaths and more than 30,000 are missing. According to the preliminary damage assessments, at least 1 million buildings were at least moderately damaged. That is over 67% of the total number of buildings in the Tampa Bay area. An estimated 480,000 structures are completely destroyed. Before the hurricane, the region had approximately 14,000 hospital beds available for use. It is estimated that 42 of our 57 hospitals received at least moderate damage. "60% of our fire stations and police stations have been damaged. The sheer amount of debris is overwhelming and will become a health hazard in many communities. It is estimated that 48 million tons of debris will be generated, enough to fill 1.5 million trucks. The Port of Tampa is severely damaged with the potential for an environmental catastrophe. There were many metric tons of anhydrous ammonia, sulfuric acid, and phosphoric acid in the tank farms prior to the storm. In addition, we have lost the millions of gallons of petroleum stored there. The channels leading into the port facilities are filled with debris, and the Skyway Bridge has been damaged and will need to be assessed prior to reopening the port.
We lost everything.
An estimated 843,000 households have been displaced due to this disaster. Approximately 300,000 have sought shelter in existing shelters, as well as other local schools, churches, and businesses.
It can't be replaced is the biggest thing.
Vicki Dryden is searching for her wedding album, photos taken 61 years ago. She's found a handful of other family heirlooms, but keeps searching for that wedding book.
Economically, there is an estimated building-related loss of $200 billion. Bridge and road closures are impacting response and recovery operations. The devastation to the region is almost unimaginable. However, Tampa Bay can recover from this catastrophe. We can rebuild our houses, schools, businesses, and infrastructure, but we have to work together. The key to recovery is to have a regional plan in place long before disaster strikes.
I forgot I wasn't on the screen. Sorry about that, guys. I am going to let you guys go ahead and mess with that video later if you want. Again, I want to say it was at Shadow of Ezra, Ezra on X. Shadow of Ezra is where you can check that whole video out. I know it's kind of poorly produced and corny, but remember it was produced back in 2009. And it was game planned, and we've seen the whole game plan thing before. So it's, I don't know how much I can say, but I'll say this: you guys know what I'm talking about. Back in 2020, there was a whole game plan, war game that they did, and then months later, the exact situation and scenario played out. Obviously, this was done in 2009, but we'll see how it all plays out. Weather modification is something that's being discussed a lot, and though I don't know if we all have the perfectly clear picture, we can say that it is real. NOAA, their government website, says it's real, talks about how it's done, and it's left up to human interpretation as to whether they want to believe as an individual that there could be possibly a nefarious order in place that would use such tools for harm on people. That is for you as an individual to decide. That is not for me to tell you what to believe. But nobody wants to believe it could happen to them. You know, we learned about World War II and the bad guy in World War II. Nobody wants to believe that could happen again. We learned about Tuskegee experiments. Nobody wants to believe that the government, I think it was from 1942 to 1972, I think it was. Are those the right dates? I think it was in the 1970s. Like 1972 is when they stopped the Tuskegee experiments, where they were injecting syphilis into African American men. They were experimenting on them. Nobody wants to believe that, you know, our government could do such awful things. But if you look at history, it's been done. Things have been done. But you want to believe that's behind us. You know, that was for my parents' generation, not even my grandparents' generation. That was for my parents' generation. It's not going to be for my generation. No, we're more advanced and civilized than that. Look around. Look around. The last 4 years have not shown you how barbaric we as humans can be. Then you've been living with your head underneath a rock. You've been living with your head in sand. You've been living under a rock. Gosh, I can't get my sayings right. Never do. But I wanted to talk to you guys today about these things and keep the conversation going about the damage from Helene in North Carolina and Tennessee. Introduce new players to you like the wildfires. Hopefully we learn more about that as time goes on. Terrible situation. Terrible situation. And also, we are within 24 hours of seeing ultimate disaster zone in Florida. That's what they're saying, at least. Jerry Pauly from Hillbilly Horror Stories podcast lives in Daytona Beach now. That's on the other side. But I imagine he'll still have a category 2 by the time it hits him. There's a lot of people in Florida right now that are hunkering down, praying for the best. And I highly encourage you to join them in prayer and pray with them as well. Interesting times we live in. I saw somebody ask if this is the October surprise in the chat. Possibly. Not sure. It's just the beginning of October, and we'll see where things take us from here. There's a lot of things to play out still. But again, if you would like to donate and you're looking for a place to donate to, might I suggest hitting the link in the description of this episode? Excuse me, my voice. Might I suggest you hit the link in the description of this episode? It is a web page that we created on the website that is listing organizations that Tony trusts. You know, you don't have to trust them if you don't want to trust them. There are organizations that I trust that, and I have a couple more here that I'll say on air, but I haven't listed them because I haven't had a chance to actually look at them. But on the surface, I was like, oh, maybe. One is watermission.org. Watermission.org. You can donate there, and also Baptists on a Mission, or baptistonmission.org. Baptistonmission.org is another relief organization. So those are two more I have not put on the website. I might later. But again, we talked about William Bond earlier from Permaculture Consultant YouTube channel. If you're looking to donate funds, he is the person I can tell you, from me to you as the audience, I trust. Okay. There's a lot of people I trust in this world. There's not a whole lot of people I trust on the level I trust William with this kind of thing. Not a whole lot. He's putting his life on the line. He left his wife and child in Texas to go do this. He does not have a return date. He said he is going to be out there until there's no more money to do stuff with. So if you're feeling like you want to donate funds, he's not taking supplies. He doesn't have a PO box out there. You can go and to his GoFund, or not GoFundMe, to his Give Send Go, which is listed on our website on the link below in the description, and you can donate funds to keep him moving. He is renting equipment today to start tearing up roads, and he took a whole truckload out. If you're just joining us, you can go back and watch the video I shared. Him and I were at Walmart getting supplies, and he's taken a whole truckload. And he took a whole truckload out there, water, a lot of different stuff, and he's going to be doing more of that. So if you're looking to donate funds and you're like, I don't know how to ship, a bottle of water to where, but you're like, I could donate funds if I had a place I trusted. Well, from me to you, I trust William, and you can donate to his Give Send Go on the website, and that will go to the recovery efforts. So that said, friends, that's what I have for you today. Maybe it was a little bit more bubble, probably not. As time gets behind us with this stuff, I'll get more bubbly, I'm sure. But how do you make light of the situations we're seeing the last couple of weeks, right? So this is for me to you a heartfelt warmth and gratitude that you tuned in today. I saw we spiked up over 700 people tuning in live. Very grateful that there's that many people watching Weird Wednesday Wake Up live, and all the people who listen and watch on replay. Thank you very much for tuning in. And we'll be back next Wednesday, unless I'm in North Carolina, or it would be North Carolina. If I do wind up going on that ride along, I don't know when that would be, but if it happens on Wednesday, I will not be here Wednesday, but I'll try to give you a Weird Wednesday Wake Up on Thursday or Friday or Tuesday, or maybe not at all. But I'll try my best to get a show out for you and stuff, especially if I go do it, because I want to be able to report back to you. But smash the like button if you haven't done so yet. There's plenty of time to do that. Smash that like button, and share this video if you felt it was useful information for people, or if you just want to bore somebody like you just been bored for the last hour and a half. And this episode was brought to you by mercmerch.com. Go ahead and check out mercmerch.com. We have a new design coming, and I'm excited about that. So love you guys. And until next Wednesday, keep your head up, and do not let the circumstances around you pull you down into a dark state of existence. Put your head out that hole, touch some grass like Joel talks about on Free the Rabbits podcast, and look to help other people around you. It's going to make you feel more alive with your life, whether it's the hurricane victims or your neighbor down the street in Nebraska. Look to help people around you. It's going to breathe new life into you when you are able to help other people, especially if you don't have much to give as far as money goes, or you're physically unable to do things, but you do something anyways. When you're hurting and you still find the ability to help others, I'm telling you, it's going to breathe new life into you. It's a feeling of addiction. You're going to want more of it. And, I love helping people, and it's something that I've always just kind of been built by. And it wasn't until I watched an episode of Friends. If there's anybody listening and watching right now that was a big Friends fan, you're looking at one. I enjoyed that show. It's right up there with The Office for me. But there was an episode where Phoebe and Joey were debating the entire episode, that Phoebe said that there are acts of kindness that are selfless, and Joey made the argument that there is no such thing as an act of kindness that is selfless completely. And basically the root of it was, even the feeling that you get from helping other people, that good feeling you feel inside, it is a selfless thing, because you want that feeling, kind of thing. And it got me thinking. I was like, man, maybe that's true. I don't know, but I can tell you, from me to you, I love helping people, and I love the way it makes me feel. And so if that's If that's selfish, then I guess it's selfish. But look to help people around you. That's really how we're going to rebound through all this this world that we're living in. I was telling Lindsay, I feel like we're on a turn. There's a lot of doom and gloom, but I feel like we're about to turn. We're about to turn a corner, and I think that corner that we're going to turn is going to be from the ground up, the people. And so be encouraged and be ready to go along for that ride of a turn. And I will talk to you guys soon. Hopefully next week I'd say about an 85% chance I'll be here. We got to believe it. We got to believe it. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.
Wake up, it's Wednesday, feel the morning light. The world's a bit different, something feels just right. Coffee's brewing strong and the day's brand new. Weird Wednesday, wake up, here's a song for you. From the dawn's early rise to the evening's glow, we dance to the rhythm, let the good times flow. In the heart of the country where the wild winds blow. Weird Wednesday, wake up, let your spirit show. Weird Wednesday, wake up, start your day with a smile. Strum that banjo softly, let's enjoy for a while. Embrace the morning, let your heart take flight. Weird Wednesday, wake up, everything's alright.